Project Mayhem, protecting content integrity. This is going to be pretty freaking cool. So AI really is, I don't want to say taking over, because it's not necessarily taking over. With AI being such a big piece of our world, we're going to be a much larger piece of our day-to-day life and society. It's going to be important that we as a people are able to protect ourselves from AI. And I think part of that is going to come down to realizing what is and isn't real, right? Because there's lots of things out there like deepfakes and content creation that's made by AI that people may try to pass as original work that's created by people, whether it's art, like visual art or music or movie scripts, anything really. There's so much that can be done with AI, it's kind of scary. What is Project Mayhem? Flux is set to unveil a new project on its infrastructure that will ensure AI has a truth model to balance the explosive growth. Welcome to Project Mayhem. So this is going to run its application or open source application that's going to run on the Flux network, which is decentralized by you and me, not just mining Flux, but with proof of useful work and its decentralized server infrastructure, basically. Influx Technologies announced Flux, a prominent provider of decentralized cloud services, that's the Flux you and I know, has recently unveiled the upcoming release of Project Mayhem. It is no longer news that the rapid breakthroughs in artificial intelligence are redefining the world as we know it. AI offers faster access to information and a more robust problem-solving approach. First, it was ChatGPT. It's not first, but in all its glory, solving college work in seconds, writing code for multitasking developers, and even creating business growth templates for marketers. Not willing to be beaten by OpenAI, other hard hitters joined the AI race. Google released Bard, Microsoft released Bing AI, all with exciting possibilities. It's funny they mentioned Microsoft releasing Bing AI because Bing AI has ChatGPT as a backend because Microsoft bought OpenAI, as I understand it. Mayhem will be an open source application that runs on Flux's decentralized network and allows people and organizations to detect AI-generated content such as deepfakes, content creation, and any AI output. That's interesting. Deepfakes are synthetic media that have been digitally manipulated to replace another person's likeness in appearance, speech, etc. The name initially had its roots in the underlying technology, deep learning. However, while deepfakes are relatively recent, the massive sophistication of artificial intelligence has now made it a legitimate concern. Research is another area where it is essential to protect content integrity. Protecting content integrity. That's a great way to put it. AI could presumably be used to make the process of citing articles relevant to the topic of interest easier. However, an alarming number of ChatGPT users, for example, have highlighted the tendency of the AI chatbot to spit out hallucinations. These are references to articles and papers that do not exist or, in other cases, have nothing in common with the topic of focus. Admittedly, there were other times when the AI got it all lined up. How exactly do you know when your trusted AI partner has suddenly gone rogue? Project Mayhem is a generative AI detector that runs on Flux's decentralized infrastructure. It's designed to evaluate and identify if the data files provided are original or AI-generated content, thus helping to differentiate deepfake media from accurate data. That's pretty cool. Now, with Project Mayhem, Flux sets the bar by becoming the first cloud infrastructure provider to provide AI systems with much-needed infrastructure, while also developing a tool to mitigate the explosion of this technology by malicious actors. Let me take this opportunity to say this is the kind of content that you enjoy. If you like the video so far, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Project Mayhem will usher in the first of its kind to ensure the balance between AI and truth models. Decentralized, scalable, and open source will ensure we are pushing the boundaries with AI, but also ensuring we have a yin to its yang. There are many challenges around the acceptance of developed AI. With Mayhem, there is a way to allow this aggressive growth to be leveraged and paced correctly. That's important. You got to pace the growth. I mean, everybody wants to just take off and run, right? Hey, look at this cool shiny new thing. Let's go run with it. But they may not realize they're running with scissors pointed at their face. There are many reasons why this is important. Like it said in the article, there's a lot to consider here, and leaving it up to people to decide what's real and what isn't just isn't going to work. We need something that's able to detect that for us, because we can't rely on ourselves to do that as people, as a species, right? As well as AI being utilized in other applications like banking or financial institutions and medical institutions. If the machine learning gets something wrong or provides information that's not legitimate, it could put lives at danger. It could put lives and livelihoods at risk. Having that medium or that mitigator that's going to double check your work, I think, is very important. And the fact that it's going to be decentralized, I think, is a very important piece. That it mentioned many times that it's going to be running on Flux's decentralized network. That's important because Flux is not owned by any person. Flux is owned by all of us that are contributing to the project, that are mining, that are staking with nodes, that are going to be providing compute with proof of useful work. So if Leaky Dan wanted to sell Flux for a number with a lot of zeros behind it, he can't because he doesn't own it. So having the legitimate infrastructure and resources that are able to provide this layer of security in a decentralized way is huge. It really is huge, because if Google comes out with this, or Apple, or Microsoft, or Alibaba come out with this type of app and this type of technology, they still own it. It's still owned by Google. Somebody with nefarious purposes and malicious intent could still fuck shit up. I don't know a better way to put that. If it's owned by an organization, that organization is about profit and getting paid. There can absolutely be people that are paid off to skirt the system, things like that. When it's decentralized and there's no ownership of it, it's not about profits. It's not about what's best for the provider. It's what's best for the end user. And the app is doing what it's meant to do without any third party's interaction, if that makes sense. So what are your thoughts on Project Mayhem by Flux? Just a quick Google search, and lots of companies out there right now that are trying to do the same thing, or at least trying to provide security for AI in one form or another. Nobody is able to do it in a decentralized manner like Flux is providing. Having it open source is a great idea. For transparency, people can look at the code and make sure there's nothing funky going on in there. But that code can also be taken, manipulated, rewritten, and pushed out there in a centralized manner to a Google Cloud, to an Azure or an AWS. Keep your eye open for when something like that happens. See what those effects are when a big company starts utilizing this technology for their private cloud offerings. See what happens, and then compare it to Flux. Yeah, so if this is the kind of content that you like, consider subscribing to the channel. On the path to 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2023, so all the help is appreciated. And of course, thanks for watching. AI could presumably